Pride and humility are quite remarkable concepts that are presented probably in all known religions as well as in most spiritual practices. However, as almost everything in this world, it's understood perversely. Pridefulness is considered a synonym of pride, behavior of a brave, successful, and proactive person. By comparison, humility is a mark of a loser, so called slavish passivity, a feature of a spineless person. But in reality, everything is exactly the opposite. As they say, the ego of a man obsessed by pridefulness is hypertrophied, and his feeling of self importance is blown out of proportions. This is behavior of a person who considers himself the king of the universe and believes that the world is bound to revolve around him. Having come across something he doesn't like, such a man complains out loud and gets fussy like a baby, demanding compliance with his will. On the other hand, a humble person clearly understands that he is not the center of the universe and that the world is not in debt before him. In the short run, a person overtaken by pridefulness is capable of converging a group of followers around him because of his vociferous complaining. Naturally, zealous complaints and demands draw attention. In his turn, a humble person is not that conspicuous, as he does not wail about nor appeal, he just does something. However, in the long run, a man filled with pridefulness scarcely could bring something substantial to this world, as demanding and complaining are his main activities. Whereas, in contrast, a man who accepts the concept of humility understands that there is no limits nor barriers in this world. Such a person realizes that he has the right to do anything, whatever he wants. But in order to be able to bring changes to the reality, you have to act. And in order to act, you have to know rules of the game. The rules which a prideful person is not able to conceive, as he allegedly the king of the universe. And it's he who dictates rules. The world, for some reason, just doesn't go along, which implies that the world owes him unconditionally and for real. A humble person knows that the world is not in debt before him, that he is only one of 7 billion and he does not have the right to demand something from the world. If such a person happens upon something dislikable, he asks himself, why does it have to be likable? Who do I think I am? Therefore, from a prideful person's point of view, the world is always wrong and unfair as it does not align with his wishes. He permanently considers himself an innocent victim of circumstances, and it is the world that constantly does harm to him. Whereas a humble man understands that at any given point of time the world is immaculate, as it's a very complicated, self balancing system which strives towards an equilibrium. In any given point of time, the world is perfectly balanced. A man is able to change the world at his whim. For instance, you might want to paint the moon red. Being cognizant, a humble person understands that in order to put it into practice, he needs a certain amount of money and time. He also has to enlist scientists, engineers, financial experts, and many, many others. And in case he is ready to take it upon himself, he can do it. By all means, there are no barriers. On the other hand, a prideful person starts making rallies and protests demanding to paint the moon red, but without his direct involvement. But obviously, it's not going to work. Becoming humble doesn't mean debasing oneself before others. Having downgraded himself, a person is also filled with pridefulness, but of the opposite nature. Humility is in its turn implies that a man doesn't oppose himself to others but accepts the idea that he is absolutely the same. It's incredibly frightening, and there are few who are capable of doing that. A truly humble person realizes and accepts the fact that he and any other person are cast in the same mold. He is not by any means unique and possesses the very same set of emotions, feelings, motivations, logic, intellect, etc. In something, he outclasses others, but also he is an underdog in some areas. All in all, he is the same as others, and there is nothing unique about him. To accept it is a trying ordeal, and this is where genuine self pitilessness occurs. Self pitilessness is a very popular topic among people sharing magic life views, and it has nothing to do with all that Rambo style stuff, where a person overcoming pain by himself melts his open, bleeding wounds without anesthesia. True self pitilessness is neither more nor less than brutal honesty before yourself, the capability to tell yourself honestly who you are in this world. For most people, it's very hard. That is why they surround themselves with the various myths about how great and noble they are and how unjust this world is. But if we manage to step over this threshold, new opportunities are open for us. We start to look at this world and other people in a different way. It turns out that even the worst, the most terrible people share the same humane qualities with us. Insecurities and hang ups from the childhood, hopes, dreams, something to be proud of and be scared of. We get to see people's strengths and weaknesses as long as ways to influence others if desired. A prideful man looks right through it. People around are nothing more than just lifeless figures with labels for easy identification. That one is good, this one is bad, there is a fool, there is a funny guy, and so on. Personality development is paradoxical by nature as well as our whole world itself. Only after abandoning something we realize how many things we acquired. Having disengaged ourselves from pridefulness and accepted the idea of humility, we all of a sudden realize that there are no more barriers. We start to understand how the world works, how something is achieved here, and what rules of the game are. Moreover, we are provided with a chance to detect our real unicity. It's not a kind of the unicity that you should show off and push in everybody's face here and there. This unicity serves as a mean for us to find our own path in this life. As for a prideful person, he is going to be constantly educated and punished by life until he finally learns the lesson. If it's not the case, you could hardly envy him.